the American company reaching for the stars. A launch will take place to the International Space Station just a few days from now, with the only capsule completely made in America. And ABC's David Muir, head of the team, just returned with an exclusive look inside.
This was quite a view, as you know, Diane. I already told you about this. They say they're the only ones hired by NASA to deliver supplies to the International Space Station with everything, even the engine, made in America. But tonight, as you're about to see, they're in a race to carry something else.
The moment the space shuttle Atlantis landed,
the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time.
A dream went dark. So many asking at the time, who will send American astronauts into space? Now the U.S. pays Russia to do it. Just last night, the latest American astronaut on the left there, taken by 2 cosmonauts to the International Space Station. But there is an American company on a rocket ride to change that. South of Los Angeles, Hawthorne, California.
A sure sign that we're here. You can actually see that right over our shoulder here, Rocket Road.
We arrive at SpaceX, where their flight plan is entirely made in America.
So you're number 7.
I am number 7.
So you've been here almost from the start.
Almost from the start.
Employee number 7, Gwynne Shotwell, helps run the private company alongside CEO Elon Musk. They've already been hired by NASA to send supplies to the International Space Station. And what do they send them in?
And this right here?
This is the Dragon capsule.
American-made, American engines sent into orbit.
That's the first time a private company had ever done that.
And I think the windows are very telling, aren't they?
The window, yes.
It's sort of a hint of what you plan on doing.
It is, absolutely.
They want to be the ones who send American astronauts into space again.
In that window, you see the view of the future.
Absolutely.
And inside this room, where they have never allowed a TV crew before, another capsule nearly ready for takeoff. We suit up because there is no room for error, they say. At this point, dirt, a speck of dust, can spell trouble.
That's what I thought.
They keep our camera just outside the glass. And she shows me what will keep the capsule from burning up.
1,800 degrees F?
1,800 degrees. So when you go to the International Space Station in just a couple of weeks, you're the only team sending a made-in-America engine.
That is correct.
They take us to another capsule, allowing us to climb up and to get inside.
Right now, this is the only capsule actually made in America, making that trip to the International Space Station. And come on, and I'll give you an idea of the scope, the space inside. This is actually where they put the supplies and equipment for scientific research.
A lot of cargo.
And this is the view from the other side, the International Space Station, and the American astronaut pulling those supplies out, Sunita Williams.
We also got a little dessert, just like you said. Got a little ice cream.
Another sweet spot tonight. SpaceX arguing they can make all of this here cheaper than their competitors who use Russian engines. Late this week inside the car in Washington, about to take their argument to the Pentagon, saying allow us to compete. Use our American engines to propel those defense satellites into space too.
So you're not sending defense satellites up yet?
Not yet.
But you're fighting to get the chance?
We are fighting to get the chance.
All this metal comes from all over America?
Yes.
And there's a saying here about that metal.
They say metal comes in one door and
rockets roll out the back door.
I love that.
Yes.
3,700 American workers tonight, more than 4,000 they say by the end of the year. And when they send the next capsule up, not only will it be mission accomplished, there will be 3 other words too.
Made in America. And we loved hearing that. By the way, the next capsule launch expected within days, and astronauts on board, they say, within 2 years. It is a race tonight, Diane. Other American companies hoping to do the same, but they say with that American engine already, SpaceX already revving up tonight.
And all of us at World News cheering something else they may take up.
They put in the request with NASA tonight to take our Made in America banner up to space with them. So we've traveled the country for 3 years now. That banner could very well end up in space.
All right, go Made in America. Thanks, David.
Everyday Americans could be headed to space, but how? Take a look.
Our drive deep into the Mojave Desert, because we hear that past the trains, there's about to be a new mode of transportation, one that will take us to space. At Blue Sky Waiting, and so were they, the team at Xcor, Hangar 61.
Commander. Finally tonight here, Made in America. Everyday Americans could be headed to space, but how? Take a look.
Our drive deep into the Mojave Desert.
Finally tonight here, Made in America. Everyday Americans could be headed to space, but how? Take a look.
Our drive deep into the Mojave Desert, because we hear that past the trains, there's about to be a new mode of transportation, one that will take us to space. At Blue Sky Waiting, and so were they, the team at Xcor, Hangar 61.
Commander.
Hi, David. How are you?
A former NASA commander and the team there now developing a spaceship. And this isn't the distant future. They say quite possibly a year from now.
3, 2, 1.
Their animation of the Lynx, a rocket ship with wings that they say will take Americans into space. A suborbital trip once it gets there, 4 to 5 minutes of weightlessness, 200,000 feet up, a half-hour trip into space.
Save the pennies and you get the opportunity to go.
A lot of pennies, though.
$100,000 for a trip, not cheap, but they say that cost will one day come down. But we came armed with another question.
How much of this is made in America?
Virtually all of it.
Parts from Utah, California, every corner of the country. And what will drive that rocket up? The Lynx propulsion system.
We're testing this on its own.
They're testing everything here. They show us the nose gear, the wheel that has to come up in 1 second.
In 1 second.
In 1 second.
I love it.
We give it a shot.
Was that a second?
Pretty close.
We're getting there.
Ultimately, these former astronauts want Americans to see what they saw.
Can't beat the view.
And how do you describe it when you get home? It's almost impossible to describe, isn't it?
It's impossible to find fully the right words for it.
And before we leave, they walk me out to that hangar. Their families know they still have a mission.
The kids have all grown up and said,
Dad's still playing.
Inside the mock-up.
How quickly does this get me back to New York?
The Lynx seats 2.
There's actually a little more legroom for the passenger here.
And the commander shows me where this will take off.
that shows Mojave.
And when it's all done, then re-entry, flying back like a glider.
You'll be able to glide right back here to where you started.
Yeah.
And one last thing, on their first trip, they promised to take something up from us.
Made in America!
Ready to take our Made in America banner right up with them. We don't have a rocket tonight, but we have our drone with us here in Los Angeles. And as we say goodnight, we hope to see you right back here tomorrow for World News Tonight. Until then, from all of us here at ABC News, have a good evening. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Russian entrepreneur Yuri Milner and renowned Professor Stephen Hawking and their plan to invest in a tiny spaceship that could launch interstellar travel. And right after Professor Hawking exclusively with us, we gave Hawking, who communicates using a computer, a heads up about what we'd be asking.
It's an ambitious plan to build tiny spaceships, nanocrafts that could one day travel beyond the planets to the nearest star system, catapulting us into the interstellar age.
Do you have the spacecraft with you?
I do.
Can I look at it?
Sure.
He shows me the size, a spacecraft one day powered by light beams.
So this is it. It doesn't look like a space shuttle or Voyager.
The ultimate spacecraft is going to be about the size of this, maybe quite a bit lighter and having much more functionality.
It's pretty light to begin with.
And right beside him, one of the smartest minds in the world, Professor Stephen Hawking, whose groundbreaking work was celebrated in the theory of everything.
In your mind, knowing what you know already, what do you expect to find? Things that would help us on Earth, or is this just an intellectual pursuit?
The rapid progress of technology for space exploration has improved people's lives in the past, so it would not be surprising if it brought benefits.
Do you have any reason to believe that we'll find other intelligent life out there? And will it be at a place where we can communicate with it? Should we communicate with it?
It is unlikely that there happens to be intelligent life in our nearest star system.
But he added just being able to explore a neighboring star system and to send images back would make history. As Hawking tries to inspire the next generation, we ask him about the generations he's already inspired.
I want to ask you about The Simpsons.
Stephen Hawking, the world's smartest man.
Of course, the Hollywood movie that so many of us have watched based on your life. How does it feel to be a pop culture icon?
I won't feel like a true pop culture icon until I've been on the Kardashians.
Be careful what you wish for.
We see his smile, and we ask Yuri about where we're sitting atop One World Trade.
You said we're the closest point in North America to the stars.
Yes.
Where we're sitting right here.
Yes.
But you want to get a lot closer.
If we are not going to achieve it in our lifetime, then we need to pass the baton to the next generation.
It could be 20 years before it happens, but they hope to inspire the next generation. They inspired us today.